So the film and TV industry is very different from most other industries. After studying film and TV at college for 2 years and then at university for 3 years, after I graduated, I thought I had all the knowledge that I needed to jump into the actual industry itself. It wasn't until I got my first job that I realized just how green I really was. So here are some lessons that I have learned in my last year working in the industry that I think could be helpful to anyone either entering the industry or anyone who is thinking about going into film and TV as a career. Now, I didn't specifically go to film school, but I don't know what they could have taught there that I wasn't taught in my 5 years of education studying the same subject, so whatever. Here we go. Tip 1. You learn how to do your job on the job. Every time I was offered a job, regardless of what department I would be working in, I was never really given any training. If you have even like the basic sort of understanding of just how a film or TV set is run, then you know what most roles are. And even if you don't, you can just go and Google the job itself to get a bit of a brief understanding before you start. But you definitely learn very quickly what your role is and what it entails once you're actually on set. You do definitely stumble through it for the first few days, but usually by the end of the first week, you are on it and you know exactly what it is that you're doing. And luckily with the people that I've been working with, most people have been very understanding. So anytime I've been stuck or a bit confused, they've been, I haven't been talked down to or patronized at all, because, everyone starts somewhere. You also learn a lot from watching other people do their job as well. As I usually work in the assistant directors department, most third, second and first ADs that I've spoken to said that they learned how to do their job from watching their peers do that job when they were lower down in their career. So again, don't feel bad if you feel very overwhelmed or out of your element on your first job or first few jobs or first few days in just a job. It's very common, and we've all been there, and you've just got to believe in yourself that you are the right person for this job, and within a few days you will grasp it. Tip number 2. The film industry is more of a lifestyle than a job. When I was making my own short films at university, only a few days or weeks of a semester were actually spent filming. Most of it was spent either planning, pre-production or editing. So when you do those long days, you can tolerate it pretty easily because it's, again, only a few days or maybe only a few weeks. When you work exclusively on sets, however, that's your job. You'll be doing 12 to 14 hours minimum a day, sometimes 6 days a week. And that's not including the commute to and from set. Now, I definitely have my own thoughts on this and my own opinions. At the start, it's kind of fun, you wear those dark circles under your eyes with pride. But I definitely think that people really shouldn't be worked that much. And it does look like, with the way the industry is going, that days will be getting shorter. We just had that IATSE movement in the States in October last year, where they very nearly went on a strike. Their needs were mostly met, so the strike was called off. But the message is definitely getting out there that days are going to get shorter, but for now this is still the norm. So a way to work around it is that if you get any time or days off between shifts, you definitely want to pre-make your meals. I would usually make a whole week's worth of meals and put them all in the fridge, so when I come home I don't have to waste time cooking. I can just go straight in and eat. And now that my CV has built up a bit more, I will only accept a job that is commutable within an hour. More time commuting means you have less time to decompress in the evenings or get ready in the mornings, and most importantly, it gives you less time to sleep. I have seen this kind of like unsettling culture on some sets where people are almost bragging or prideful of how little sleep they got the night before, but if you continue that race to the bottom, it can lead to some pretty bad situations. Sleep should absolutely be your priority when working in this industry, as it is so physically demanding and as you are working such long shifts. So make sure to take the steps necessary so that when you get home from a shift, you can get to bed and get to sleep as quickly as possible. Number 3, basic etiquette. Again, when I was making my own short films at university and in my own time, we of course don't have millions and millions of pounds or dollars to make our productions, so our tech and equipment was a lot more budget, I'd say. So a lot of the time we would have to communicate by shouting to one another or running around the set. When you're actually on a professional film set, you cannot do any of those things. There are so many cables and pieces of equipment just lying around that you could smack into or break, and you will almost always be given a walkie-talkie, so you definitely want to communicate on that, as if you just shout to another crew member, not only is that going to get all eyes on you, but also you're going to be distracting some of the higher ups that are like directing actors or, you know, setting up a piece of equipment. When filming does start, you're going to want to find a position and make sure that you stay there. The last thing you want to do once the cameras start rolling is to start moving around and walking. Every minute sound becomes so amplified. Even if it is an emergency, sometimes it is better just to wait until the take is done, and then you can just run over and complete whatever task you need to do. And this goes without saying, but, you know, just have good manners in general. Be nice to people, be patient with people. You know, everyone's working really long hours. Quite a lot of people are underslept. So just be nice and helpful where you can, and not only will the days feel shorter, but just the vibe in general on set will be a lot better, and it's going to be a much better production to work on because of it. Tip 4, things take time. Everything takes about 10 times longer on a set than it does in real life. I definitely went into my first few jobs thinking that because these productions had so much more money than the stuff I was used to, that things would go a lot quicker. That definitely was not the case. It was very naive thinking on my part. Because a lot of money goes into these productions, you know, there's a lot of money at stake. They want to make sure that none of it is wasted. So there is a lot of perfectionism when it comes to the higher ups, which is a good thing. But it does mean that there are going to be times where you're just kind of sitting around, standing around when they're, you know, getting a camera into place or rehearsing a scene, blocking a scene. There will definitely be times where you have to show up to set almost 2 hours early. However, it's rarely ever boring. There's always something that you can do or someone that you can talk to help pass the time. Although the shifts are long, a lot of the time they don't feel that long. Tip number 5. Comfy shoes are essential. If you're not working outdoors, like if you're not filming in like a forest, shoes with some sort of support are absolutely essential. I cannot tell you the aches and pains I have felt in my feet from wearing shoes like this for over 12 hours. It's not good. It may not look super swaggy, but, you know, just wear gym shoes if you have to. Your feet will thank you later, I promise. And also, I feel like this goes without saying, but thermals really are a lifesaver. If you're unsure on if you should wear a thermal underlayer or not with your outfit, just do it. It's better to be safe than sorry. The last thing you want on hour 10 of 12 is your nipples turning into ice cubes. And those are some of the lessons that I have learned whilst working in the film and TV industry. I hope that these were helpful. If you have any lessons that you've learned or tips that you've picked up whilst working in film, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them. Thank you all for watching, liking and subscribing. Your support really does mean the world to me. And I look forward to bringing you all a new video next month. See you then.